All right, so you made your textures, your texture maps, and now it's time to bring it into Unreal. And here's what you have to do. So you have your texture list. These are all the different materials. I don't know why mine are not named properly, but they should be, like gun body. That'd be much better than blend, but that's fine for now. So when you're ready, what you're going to do is you're going to go to File, Export Textures, and you'll see that there's 4 right here, and 2048 is a pretty good size. You know, just remember that the higher they are, the more they cost, which we know what that word means now. Because they're so many small pieces, you probably would be fine with 1024, but we'll just keep this. Our game's not going to have a huge amount of texture, so we should be okay. So you're going to click Export, but make sure you pay attention to where you're putting these. Right now it's putting them in Documents, Algorithmic Substance Painter, Export. Probably a better place to put them. I'm going to put them in my desktop modeling folder, and maybe I'll even create a new one for textures. And there they are. Now from there, we're going to need to go back into Maya and open up your gun again. The reason why is because we got to do something in order to get this into Unreal. And it's a little complicated, which is why I'm making a video. So in Unreal, you're going to need to go to your FPS Wizard content, and you're going to need to find the skeleton of the gun that you are trying to create. And if there's not a gun you're creating, you're doing your own new one, you can just use, well, I'll show you which one to use. So if you go under sample content, and you go into meshes, and then you go into, I think it's FP weapon should work. Let's see here. No, where are my gun meshes? Oh, they're here. So you can choose pretty much any of these, but if you have a shotgun, use the shotgun one. If you have a sniper, use the sniper one. If you have a rocket launcher. But if you don't have any of those, you could probably just use the, whatever the base weapon is. Actually, these are the ones I imported. I'm not sure where the actual ones are. Let me take a second to figure that out, because you're going to need to know that. That'll work. The one under FP weapon mesh SK gun, FP gun, that should work. Let's take a look at it real quick. Make sure. Oh, I think that'll work for everyone. Sorry, I should have figured this out first. Where is my mesh for the gun? There's the flag one for those of you who are doing that. Third person mesh. Huh. FPS Wizard. I don't know where it is. I guess I'll have to turn on my skeletal mesh here. And where is skeletal mesh? Oh, there it is. Okay, so it's under, I guess, just FPS Wizard. Huh. That's weird. Meshes, FP weapon mesh. Okay, well, anyway, you'll find one of these, and you'll want to asset actions, migrate. Sorry, export by right-clicking on it. Make sure it's the pink one. That has to be a SK, not the blueprint. And you're going to export it as an FBX, and you can put it on your desktop if you want. This is rocket launcher. That doesn't look like a rocket launcher. Oh well. Now you go into Maya, and you have to import that. So we're going to do file import, and you got to find that one you just exported. So I think I just put it on here, SK rocket launcher. There it is. It looks like this. I don't know why it says rocket launcher. That's a good question, but shouldn't matter. But basically what you're going to get, if you have to look over here in your outliner, is you're going to see a group with a skeleton and a mesh. And this is what the skeleton looks like. Get into 4 mode. That's the skeleton. Those little things right there. And if you were to like take part of the skeleton and move it, then that would adjust where the hands were for your character. So you probably don't want to do that. But what we do want to do is we want to, I'm going to just hide this for now. Oops. By pushing H. So this is what you're left with. You want to take your gun, which is currently here, my polycube. You want to scale it. You want to rotate it, and you're going to want to do this and make sure it's 90 degrees. And you can just click over here and just type -180 or whatever it is. But it's got to be the exact same orientation. And then you're going to want to scale it, and then probably turn back on your other one here. I'm going to go back to mine, and I'm just going to make sure that they're in approximately the same place. Very important that the barrel is in the same spot right there.
Does that have to be dead on?
No, because it's not going to be dead on. But what you might have to do is adjust the skeleton a little bit. And we're not going to get into that just yet. That'll be kind of for next week. Now that I've done that, I can delete this mesh. Make sure you delete the mesh, not this entire thing, but just the mesh. And then I can drag my mesh into it. And I should end up with exactly what we had before, but now with your gun. And then again, next week, what we're going to be able to do is we're going to say, oh, okay, I need to move the skeleton, and my barrel is actually right here. And it'll tell you if you collapse this, what exactly, oh, thanks for doing that. It'll tell you exactly what it is. This is the grip bone, so like the grip would go right there. This is, I don't know why that says ammo. I don't know what that's all about either. But anyway, you can move those bones as you need to. That it would be, grip? Oh, underneath the grip there's more. There's the slide, the trigger, so we can put that right on the trigger. And then the clip, if you have a clip, where that would be. So now that I've done that, and don't worry too much about the skeleton. We're gonna play with that next week. You should have it exactly like this. The grouping, the skeleton, and then not a child of the skeleton. It can't be like this. It can't be underneath the skeleton. It's got to be separate from the skeleton like that. But it should all be under this one right here. And if you want, it'd be probably a good idea to name this now. So this is SK Gianelli gun. And then make sure it's selected. If you don't have it selected, this won't work. You need to export your selection. And you need to do it as an FBX. And I'm going to put it in, you know what, for now I'm just going to put it on my desktop, and I'm going to call it SK because it's a gun. I mean a mesh, a skeletal mesh. Gianelli gun. And there's our FBX right there. Now I'm going to go into Unreal. I'm going to go into desktop here. I'm going to take SK Gianelli gun. I'm going to drag it. And it's going to be a skeletal mesh. And if it says what kind of skeleton do you want, you're going to want to choose. I think this will work. Make sure it's the one under game, not sample content, but it should be under FPS Wizard sample content. And I'm going to just do here, it's not third-person mesh. I'm looking for one that's a gun. So make sure it's the one that says under Path FPS Wizard, not under Path Game. So that should be it. Let's try and see if that works. Looks like I'll get an error. Sometimes that happens. I'm having some problems with the bones. And I obviously chose the wrong skeleton. So let's go ahead and try picking the skeleton. Once it is imported, though, it's here. You can see it looks like this. I chose the wrong skeleton, though, so let me try right-clicking skeleton, and then you want to do assign a skeleton. And it should be game. It should be that one. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe I need to try this sniper rifle. No? Let's try it again. Okay, now it worked. I don't know why. I guess don't even try to assign a skeleton. That always happens to me. I don't know what's going on. But there we go. I'll just throw it on the level so you guys can see it. There it is. Now we got a problem here. We got all these different materials for it. So if you double click on the actual icon right here, this will give you the default materials assigned to it. And here we probably, at this point, it's a good idea to create a new folder for your textures. And as I said, this is a lot of steps. So you have your textures. I'm going to go ahead and, remember earlier we exported a bunch of those textures. I think I threw them on my desktop in the modeling, Janelli, or gun model, there it is. So these are all my textures. You need to drag all of them, and there should be 3 for each material that you have. Drag them all in here. And then let's start with this one. You double click on it. Gun bottom. So now, unfortunately, these are not named the same here. They're all called Blinn. So I have to figure out which one is the gun bottom. That kind of stinks. I don't know why. I should have named them, I guess, before I did it. That would probably be this black one right here, which is Blinn 1. So let me get the ones that say Blinn 1. 1, 2, 3. Drag them in here. And then let's start with the obvious one. This is your, it says right here, base color. So I'll drag that into base color. This one is obviously normals because they're always blue. And this one's weird. It's got occlusion, roughness, and metallic. So what you do is you take the red one and you go to occlusion. What was the next one? The green one is roughness and the blue one is metallic. And if I save that, it should become the material of the bottom. Assuming I did that right. That does not look correct. So I obviously did something wrong. But that should work on your end. It's just the way I set up my model. Don't worry about it. Unless did I switch the roughness? Let me check one more time just to be sure.
So the colors, the painting that we use in Substance is
Yeah.
pointless?
The what?
The paintings we use?
No. This is from Substance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I did something wrong with the UV map, but don't worry about that. It's because, yeah, it's complicated, but don't worry. Yours shouldn't look like that. Now, so how do you get your gun in the game? Well, if your gun is replacing a gun that currently exists, it's as simple as, well, not as simple as, but here's what you do. You go into the FPS Wizard content and you find that gun. It's got a blueprint somewhere. So if I go into sample content and I go to weapons, where are my weapons? Oh, blueprints. And then weapons. There it is. So there's my, let's say I want to replace the assault rifle. You double click on it. And then what we're going to do is go into a lot of stuff here. You just have to scroll through it until you find the actual mesh. And it should be, it's right here. It's hidden. You have a pickup mesh and the actual weapon mesh. One is the one that it looks like on the ground when it's spinning around, and one is when you pick it up. Then you have to go under mesh for each one, and you have to assign, so I have one that's called Gianelli. See if I can find it. There it is. And I need to do the same thing to the pickup mesh under mesh, which I'm not seeing. Anybody see it? Oh, static mesh, there it is. Oh, I guess I don't need to worry about that one. Never mind. You just have to do the weapon mesh. Okay, so then if I now throw this blueprint out here, let's see if my character can pick it up. Throw a couple of them out there. Let's hit play. And oh. Oh, I fell into the kill zone. That specifically, let me see. And the materials should be correct. What if it's specifically for your level?
Yeah.
Yeah, then you're gonna have to create a new, you'll have to, so if you're creating a new gun, you'll want to duplicate this, call it whatever, I'll say assault rifle 1, and then you just change that mesh instead, and then you can drag it on your level. Okay? And then you can adjust the parameters, but we'll do that later.
Like the same thing with it.
So I know that's a tremendous amount of work, so Yeah, good luck.
We don't